on the topic of frugal elegance. I think I maybe found my anniversary date night dress. I used to know this woman, and when I was around her, I felt so rough around the edges, so unpolished, and dare I say tacky. Now, for a time, I thought it was because she was wealthy, and I was living in poverty at the time. We were close in age, we had the same number of children, we had many of the same interests, but I thought she was just head and shoulders more put together, more elegant than I could ever dream of being. And I thought it was because, well, she had money. That was the time in my life that I learned that when you feel that way about somebody, one of the smartest things that you can do is lean into that person and get to know them. The more that I leaned in and got to know her, the more I saw her secret. Now, it was not money, actually, although I know that helped a little bit, but that was not the foundation of her elegance. When I saw her secret, it changed everything for me. So what was her secret? It was in the edit. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, stick around, because while I bake this morning and do some activities around my home, I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean and how to apply this to your own home, your homemaking, your cooking journey in your home, as well as your style, your personal style. What I'm going to share is something you can apply to your homemaking life, no matter what your income looks like. So let's talk about the edit. When you set your hand to edit something, it is not the goal to add more. The job is to remove everything that doesn't belong, that doesn't make whatever it is you're editing stronger. You want to remove things, and you want to keep removing things until only the best remains. And sometimes when it comes to elegant living, we can think that it's about adding things that look rich, adding things that look wealthy, but sometimes it's not about that. It's not about the addition. It's about subtraction. It can be about choosing less, but better. It's removing what doesn't serve you until what is left looks entirely intentional. And that's the trick. And this is what that woman had figured out that I told you about. And we're going to look at applying it today in about maybe 9 or 10 different ways, from how you dress to how you keep your home and even how you eat. So let's start. Let's start with clothing and dressing. So tip 1 is to build a capsule wardrobe instead of just gathering a bunch of full random pieces. This is the edit in action when it comes to dressing ourselves. Stop buying a bunch of cheap things that are mismatched and start with 3 well-made, beautiful ones, or well-made ones that suit your needs. So a capsule wardrobe for a homemaker, it doesn't have to be complicated or terribly expensive, but it could mean that a few of the pieces are just well-chosen, classic pieces. While we're on this topic, and before I forget, I want to tell you about a dress style I found that I feel like kind of checks all the boxes. It is elegant, it's comfortable, and it is so forgiving if you gain a couple pounds or lose a couple. But I also want to tell you about a place I found where you can find some super well-made pieces that you won't have to be replacing all of the time. I want to tell you about a new dress style that I have found and fallen in love with as a 6-time mama in midlife. So I discovered this style last year, and I've kind of been in hot pursuit for the style ever since because, let's face it, as women, many of us have weight fluctuations and aging bodies. I love this style because it is flattering, forgiving, and incredibly comfortable. So as I've been looking for this style over the past few months, I've found that the only problem I keep running into is the prices on them do not match the quality. I found this style from a place last year and fell in love with the dress, and I even paid $30 for a dress in this style. Guess what? After the first wear, it started falling apart and I had to sew it back together myself. I'm not kidding. But I'm really thrilled now because I finally found a place that makes these dresses well, and you can really feel the quality and the difference. We talk a lot about not settling in our relationships, in our homes, and in our lives. But most of us are still settling every day when we get dressed. I personally have spent years choosing between looking good and being smart with my money. I am really excited now because I finally found a company that doesn't make me choose and even has my favorite dress styles. And this is bringing me to the sponsor that has made today's video possible, Quince. All right, you all know that I am the thrift queen. I buy secondhand, I talk about it all the time. I shop clearance. So when this brand reached out, I was skeptical, but Quince's motto caught my attention. Their motto is, quote, "We believe quality products can elevate your life, especially when they are sustainably made and affordably priced," unquote. Quince believes everyone should have access to nice things, and I respect that. They work directly with manufacturers and cut out the middlemen, so you are not paying huge markups, just quality materials and craftsmanship. When this dress arrived, I immediately felt a difference. The dress is organic cotton gauze. It's smocked and it's made right. The fabric is substantial, not flimsy. It's soft, but still structured, which at my age I kind of need. This reminded me of when I used to sew my own dresses and handpick fabrics. It's that kind of quality. You can really feel the quality difference, and it's such a special difference from what I'm used to. In fact, I really want to try more of their dresses, honestly. They have the most beautiful collections of dresses, and now that I know the quality, I'm swooning over them all. So as I was browsing, I actually found a raincoat too. I had been needing a raincoat badly ever since we moved to the Pacific Northwest, where we get a significant amount of rain certain times of the year. I could not find one though. I've been looking and looking. I couldn't find one until now. And I love this raincoat's style and color. If you're frugal like me, but don't want to keep settling and replacing low quality clothing, Quince is worth looking into. You can elevate your essentials with Quince and discover new limited edition seasonal styles and colors. So go to quince.com/mountainmama for free shipping and 365-day returns. They're now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for stuff that doesn't last. Quince.com/mountainmama. Back on the topic of creating a capsule wardrobe, here are some ideas that maybe can work for you. Maybe a tailored cardigan to go along with things, and a well-fitted pair of darker trousers, a quality blouse in neutral. This might work for some women. Other women, you might enjoy going with prints that hide spots. In fast fashion, it really screams budget because it's designed to fall apart and be replaced. And you will end up replacing so many cheap pieces over time when you could have just bought one thing that probably would have cost less compared to all of the random pieces you bought. And the one thing can last you for so long, and it can be more timeless and simple and well-fitted. Timeless, simple, and well-fitted whispers elegance because it's built to last and it's made for you. So when you edit your wardrobe down to only what fits well, flatters you, and works together, you'll feel more put together every morning. And you'll also spend less time staring at a full closet, becoming overwhelmed, feeling like you have nothing to wear, or trying to figure out what to wear. That is the edit when it comes to your clothing. Of course, a little bonus tip in here, keep an apron. Keep some good aprons on hand because these will protect your clothing and extend the life of them and extend the wearing life of them. So maybe you've got some jeans or something, and instead of wearing it just one day because it got dirty while you were cooking in the kitchen, if you've got an apron, you can maybe extend those jeans. Jeans are actually meant to be worn a few times before washing. So the second tip is one that I really believe in because it works so well, and it's to save up for one quality piece at a time. And maybe this is with clothing, or maybe it's with something for your kitchen or your home, but it's a secret that women with generational wealth have always quietly practiced. They'll buy less, but they buy better. So rather than grabbing whatever's on clearance or is trending at the moment, or impulse buying a pile of things, you sort of like identify with one item that you really love and perhaps genuinely even need, and save for it. So perhaps that would be a quality leather belt, or a real wool coat, a pair of leather flats in a neutral color, or maybe it's something for your kitchen or your home. Look for things that maybe are a little bit more, but that are quality and that you know are going to last, because cheapness cannot imitate real quality. One good thing at a time that you maybe even had to save for, that is the edit. So tip 3 is with clothing. Master fit, cleanliness, and presentation. You can wear a $7 blouse and look like $1 million if it fits your body correctly. If it's pressed maybe and clean and in good repair. But do you know what makes clothing look cheap? Sometimes it's not always the price. It's the wrinkles, or the pilling, or the hem coming loose, or the collar that just doesn't sit right, or maybe the size that's not quite right. Keep a fabric shaver on hand, or a roller, the inexpensive kind, and they'll restore a sweater or pair of trousers to looking nearly new. Consider ironing things if they're too badly wrinkled, or if something doesn't fit correctly. Learn to tailor. Learn to sew so that you can tailor it yourself. So many basic alterations are very affordable. I am consistently buying pants that need to be tailored because they don't quite fit me just right. So I usually have to do something to them to get them to fit right. And if something doesn't fit quite right, maybe has like a few flaws in it, and you're not quite sure if you want to take the time to sew it, just let it go. So when it comes to your appearance, you're editing it down to only what serves you. What is left will always look intentional. Now let's go into the next section, food. So tip 4, plate and present like it matters, because sometimes plating and presentation with food can be such a special treat and an elegant treat. So you can take a pot of simple soup and serve it in a chip bowl and just kind of slop it out there, and it will look like a struggle. Served in a clean white bowl though, maybe with a little sprig of parsley on top, or a grind of black pepper, and a warm slice of bread on a cloth napkin, will look more like a Sunday lunch in a French countryside home. Elegant eating, it's not about just going out and buying the most expensive ingredients. It's about presenting them with intention. Light a candle, dinner, even on a Tuesday maybe. Use the cloth napkins. Put the real food on a real plate and arrange it with just a little bit of care. These things cost nothing, and they can change the entire experience of a meal for you, your family, and for anybody that is welcome to your table. Tip 5 is to cook simple food exceptionally well. The most elegant cuisines in the world are built on humble ingredients. French peasant food, Italian cucina povera, the Southern American tradition of making something beautiful out of very little. A well-seasoned pot of beans, a slow-roasted whole chicken, a vegetable soup made with real stock and fresh herbs. These are not poor people's food. They're dishes that have been celebrated for centuries because mastery makes them magnificent. So learn 5 or 6 humble dishes and learn to make them beautifully. When you cook with skill and care, nobody is counting what you spent at the grocery store. Tip 6 is to curate your pantry with intention. So rather than rushing out and buying a bunch of random foods that you're not quite sure what you're going to use them for, rather than going out and mindlessly buying a bunch of bulk stuff without knowing if you're going to use it, or stocking shelves with things that you're going to half use and then forget. Think about how to build your pantry with purpose. So this would look, for us, it looks like quality olive oil, good butter, good salt, a few dried herbs that you actually cook with. These staples can elevate everything you make. A small, well-organized pantry with intentional ingredients will serve you far better than shelves crammed with impulse purchases and half-empty bottles of things you bought once for a recipe but then didn't really like and never made it again. So edit your pantry. Keep what you use what you keep, invest in a few quality basics that make even simple cooking taste like it came from somewhere wonderful. Tip number 7 is learn to sew, even if it's just the basics. So I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I want to talk a little bit more about it right now. This is such a quietly powerful skill that a homemaker can have, and one that has been largely lost in the modern era of fast fashion, fast purchases for your home like napkins and things like that. So basic sewing. You do not need to make your own clothing from scratch. You don't need to be a seamstress, but if you know just enough to hem a curtain panel to the correct length, or repair a seam on something before it becomes a tear, to patch something that is precious, or to take in a waistband, to recover a cushion or a sofa like I did one time. And I did a video about it if you want to watch that. But these small skills allow you to refashion and repair things rather than replace them. And sometimes just that alone can ink you along while you're saving to buy a replacement for it. But the difference knowing how to sew can make is really remarkable. Recently, I just went shopping to the Goodwill, and I specifically went shopping for old sheets that were still in good shape, because sheets you can make so many things out of. Aprons, napkins, you can make hot pads out of them if they're a natural fiber. A $2 thrifted curtain panel hemmed perfectly to your window length, by the way, looks far more elegant than an expensive ready-made curtain that pulls in the floor hangs too short. So the hem in this case would be the edit. But the small act of finishing something properly, knowing how to sew so that you can, kind of separates put together from almost. If you don't know how to sew, there are free tutorials everywhere. I even have a couple on my Patreon, so you can join me there. It's only $5 a month. But start with hand stitching maybe if you're new to this, then a basic machine hem, and build from there. Sewing is one of the greatest investments of time you can make as a homemaker, and it can be so peaceful. Tip 8 is to edit your home ruthlessly. Well, almost ruthlessly. I've gotten a little carried away with this at times before and accidentally or on purpose got rid of things that I ended up needing later. So I call it an accident, but it was on purpose. But clutter is the single greatest enemy of an elegant home. And the beautiful thing about removing clutter is that it costs nothing. In fact, it gives you back something: space, calm, clarity. Now, I do have a recommendation with this. You can go too far. You can remove too much, and it can end up looking empty and cold. So what I recommend doing is when you're going through editing your home, have a few bins that you put things into, especially if it comes to things like kitchen tools and things like that. Now that's a whole nother topic, and I will get into that in a second, but we're talking about like the beauty of your home, the aesthetics of your home right now. Space gives you back calm and clarity. So go through all the surfaces, shelves, mantles, countertops. Ask yourself honestly, does this add beauty or does it add noise? Do I need it here? Or could I maybe put it in a drawer or behind a cabinet door? If the answer is it's noisy and it's not practical for everyday use, just remove it. A mantle with 3 intentional objects will look curated and calm, but a mantle with 20 things looks kind of like a yard sale waiting to happen, regardless of what those 20 things cost. So empty space is free. Negative space is one of the most powerful design tools in the world, and it belongs to every income bracket. So use it. And when it comes, I'm going to go back around to the kitchen now. When it comes to the kitchen and editing appliances, I highly, highly recommend that before you just get rid of things, put them in a bin somewhere that you can stash away. And if you don't use it in 3-6 months, especially by a year, you're probably never going to use it. But the kitchen tools are the one area where I've gotten rid of things before and then needed them later, so be careful with that one. Tip 9, clean as often as you can. Repair, and you'll be shocked at what that does for making things beautiful. A modest home that is spotlessly clean, where things aren't broken or chipped or peeling, will always look a little more dignified than an expensive home that is neglected, always. So just do what you can when it comes to this. But replacing a cracked switch plate, for example, that costs almost nothing. Or maybe tightening a handle, replacing a handle on a cabinet door that has been loose or breaking. These little tiny repairs, these are the edit. They are you saying, I will take care of what I have. And that communicates something powerful to everybody who enters your home, including you. And then make it beautiful to the senses beyond just sight. So you can do things like simmer citrus peels or the simmer pots and cinnamon on the stove. Open the windows to freshen the space. Keep a simple candle burning or some essential oils. The way your home smells and feels is entirely within your control, no matter your budget. And it's one of the things that people remember most about your home when they come to visit.
Let's go back to that woman I was telling you about at the beginning of this video. The one who always looked so put together, and her home was always put together, and her home felt calm. Her life seemed curated. I now understand that she had figured out something very simple that I had not figured out at that time in my life. It was not that she had more wealth. It was in how she used what she had. It was that she edited down to only what was very best. All of her home decor was very simple and minimal. Her home didn't have everything, but it had the important things, the right things, and they were cared for beautifully. She wasn't showing off abundance. She was practicing the art of enough. And that art does not belong to any tax bracket. It belongs to anybody willing to learn. You don't need more money to look elegant and put together. You need the edit. And now you have it.